Well, I think, Boris Johnson did make a decision, and that decision was to do nothing yesterday. And of course, every time these decisions aren't made, it means that the number of infections doubles every 2 or 3 days. So, of course, the problem is that by the time you realise your hospitals are starting to get overwhelmed, it's too late to do anything about it.
Do we have good clarity at this stage about the impact on the health system?
So we have seen over the last month or so that ambulances have gone into have been starting to be overwhelmed. And of course we have a large number of people in hospital with just normal winter pressures. They haven't really kicked in yet. We have a Delta wave which is hiding really the exponential growth. And of course, pressure is going to come, and it takes time for that pressure to come. And these infections have baked into them a certain number of missions over the next few weeks. So we're really, looking in the rearview mirror to look to see what's coming towards us.
Dr. Robertson, can we talk about the why not? Why we would not have a lockdown or a circuit breaker at this point? And it feels as though Christmas is incredibly important as we talk about mental health, people wanting to catch up with their loved ones, having some hope through this pandemic. The other why potentially around vaccines, if people are saying, well, what's the point of getting all these vaccines if we don't have the freedoms on the other side? Can you just touch on those points?
Well, of course, we want it's a matter of hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. And I think there's a lot of hoping for the best and quite a little of preparing for the worst. So, with boosters, absolutely. We have a huge number of people getting boosters, I think 1 million a day yesterday. But of course, those boosters take 7 to 14 days to get to maximum protection. So really, we're talking about next year. And of course, the other thing to bear in mind is the UK doesn't vaccinate 5 to 11-year-olds. So the effect of people going back to school and mixing. And of course, the effect on critical services. I don't think people have really realised that as well as the pressure on the NHS, there are going to be pressure on the police service, fire services, and all those critical services. So we are going to get a peak by definition. That peak may be, uncertain at the moment, but really we do need to prepare for this now.
So, Dr. Robertson, if you take stock of what we've got with this variant, highly infectious, transmissible, what does it mean for other countries as well? Because it feels like the strategy here is to let it spread quite rapidly through the population, given the lack of restrictions. But other countries are not taking necessarily the same attitude. So what does that mean in terms of how long we're going to be dealing with the variant on a global nature?
Well, I think, in London, we're seeing the effects coming through now. The rest of the country in the UK is about 4 days behind. And we've seen in the US that, it's starting to become the dominant strain over there. So with all these things, there's a temptation for countries to look introspectively and look at what's happening on the ground where they are. But we've seen, going right back to the beginning of 2020, you look at China, you look at Italy, you look at Europe, you look at the United States. So just to look at what's happening and what has happened isn't enough. You've got to look at this epidemic spreading around the world, starting with this particular one in Southern Africa, and seeing how it's only a month, really, since this was discovered, and now it's becoming dominant right around the world. So it is coming towards all countries in the world. Some countries are going to be better protected with vaccinations, boosters, or just a younger population. But it is going to come to all countries, and countries need to prepare now.